we looked at Gen Z stuff in previous weeks, the Gen Z protests, the disaffected Zoomer protests that have gone global. One of the places that was getting fairly heavy protests and had killed 22 odd protesters was Madagascar. And the president of Madagascar was under threat of having to resign based on the protests. What's happened since then is the allegations that there's been a coup underway. The first thing is that, I wonder if this article will actually cover it. Okay, here we go. So one of the top military units over the weekend that had helped the president come to power initially has declared itself in command of all the military forces, and some of the officers and troops associated with it have basically changed sides and are now protesting or joining the protesters, at least. The ones joining the protesters is the big thing. The ones that are declaring themselves in command of all the forces is more interesting. What has not, well, the latest information that's come to light is that he's now saying, the president is now saying that there was an attempt on his life and that it was potentially led by the military. I wasn't really aware of the politicians against him to that extent. Certainly, as the protests led, and there's the reports of the military units changing sides, that, okay, potentially there could be. There was discussion initially that it was like they're heading down the path towards an attempted coup. This looks a little more substantive now. There was, I hadn't heard this either, but unconfirmed reports suggesting he'd left the country on a French aircraft, but he's hiding somewhere in a safe place. So the question is, what's going on? If you seize the state media, it's generally a sign that things are heading on their way. So, with the president not being seen, I mean, says he's still alive, but not being seen, that, well, the military apparently is running the place. But the protests are still ongoing, and it'd be interesting. I'd said the last week, or the other week when the news first came up, that it's unlikely we'd hear much more coming out of Madagascar. Well, sadly we are. Sadly, because it's basically not good news. It seems like every time there's another article, the details get more and more distressing. So, I mean, the idea that basically part of the government's left the country and gone to Mauritius doesn't bode well for the immediate future. Almost three quarters of the people live below the poverty line in Madagascar. They're, clearly a nation that has struggles. I mean, just over a third of people with access to electricity. I think it sort of meets the criteria of a developing nation quite well. So, I mean, Yeah, it's had unrest, but well, it I mean, the idea that he gained um, well, this guy gained power by protest. Well, in the wake of protests initially, voted out, voted back in, but uh, corruption and cronyism sounds like the sort of complaints that are perpetuating the Nepali or the Nepal um, protests as well. So, I mean, the fact that it said the inner circle have left and the military's trying to run things, I can see the military trying to stabilise things. Nothing I've seen or heard suggests that it's a completely independent military-led coup. We'll see. Hopefully they can resolve it safely. That'd be nice.